Chiefs Log, August 13th, 2016. So a few days ago, we got the new, I guess it's technically the first trailer. I guess the other trailer was a teaser. So I guess this is technically the first full trailer for Rogue One, A Star Wars Story. And I gotta say, it looked freaking awesome. So let's get into it a little bit. I'm gonna just kind of put it out there. Based on some of the footage that we've seen so far, this might be, on a visual level, the best looking / directed Star Wars film we've had yet. Like, this looks next level. In terms of some of the shot composition in this trailer, was amazing. This movie looks so good, like unbelievably good. And I heard a lot of people talk about this when they saw the first trailer. And a lot of people were saying, oh, they probably picked Gareth Edwards to direct this movie because he obviously understands scale really well, and he knows how to accentuate the size of something by shooting it from a specific angle and stuff like that. And after seeing this trailer, it's a no-brainer. Obviously, that's probably one of the big reasons that Gareth Edwards was the man for this job. Because, I mean, he directed Godzilla, so he's obviously worked with big, giant objects made out of CG before. But, I mean, this movie, it looks so good. And I mean that in both, like, just on a visual level, but also, this movie looks really good. I'm so excited for this. I know some people maybe don't want a little bit of a darker Star Wars, and I've never really understood that because Star Wars was never really like a bright, chipper. It was never like a bright, chipper movie franchise. It never was that. I mean, in Episode 4, it's Star Wars. I'm not going to call it Episode 4. In Star Wars, I mean, Luke's family is like burned alive, and we see their like charred corpses. Like, that's pretty messed up, and that wasn't Star Wars. And I mean, Episode 5, I don't know why I keep saying the episodes. It's just Empire Strikes Back. We see Luke get his arm cut off, and it's a pretty dark movie. I don't know. It's never been this like bright, chipper franchise to begin with, but there always was this sense of wonder and like hope in Star Wars. That's, I guess, what people are referring to. And based on this trailer, I think that this movie maybe being slightly darker in tone is actually going to be used in more than just like, oh, it's kind of dark. I think it's going to be a thematic, it's going to tie in thematically with this film, because I think this might be the movie where you have the Empire and you have the galaxy, and then you have the rebels. And the galaxy is kind of in this muddled state of gray, where no one really knows what side they're necessarily on. They just know that they don't really like the Empire. In some cases, we have that one character, and I'm not sure what his name is, but he looked like some sort of engineer, and he had the Imperial insignia on his shoulder. So I think that guy, and I think what this movie may kind of be about ultimately, is defining that line. So, you know, Star Wars has always been a traditional good and evil story. This might be a story of gray versus evil, and then by the end, a lot of these people that are either, you know, sympathizers to the Imperials, or, you know, just kind of like wandering souls in this galaxy, they decide to take us. They finally, by the end of this movie, pick a side, and they decide we're going to be for the rebellion, because as part of the rebellion, we can be more than we can be just as random individuals, right? And that's just me theorizing. That I don't have any reason to necessarily think that that's like absolutely what they're going to do, but that makes sense based on some of the stuff that we've seen. We have a lot of people, from the looks of it in this trailer, that actually aren't necessarily part of the rebellion, but it looks like throughout the film, we're going to see people who have, you know, various different skills and traits and attributes and stuff like that, and they're going to decide, okay, we're picking a side, we're going to join the rebellion, and that's going to be, we're going to literally see the defining, one side is bad, one side is good. We're going to see that line drawn in the sand in this film. That's kind of what that's kind of what I'm getting from this trailer, at least. but I could just be reading into it way too much, which is totally possible. But overall, like I said, this movie, it looks great. The U-Wing looks pretty cool. All of the actors, I'm just so excited because like all of the actors in this movie, for one, they all look awesome. Is his name Donnie Yen or something like that? I'm sorry if I get his name wrong, but the guy who is the Force user with the staff, he looks awesome. The other Asian actor with the really cool like reddish armor and like the long hair, he looks pretty cool also. And I think a lot of people instantly have kind of become really fond of K2SO or K2SO. I don't know how they're gonna pronounce his name in the movie, but I think just based on the little bit of dialogue we got from him in this, I think he's gonna be, like I've read and I've seen things where they're like, oh, he's like the mind of R2 inside of the body of Chewbacca. I've seen that places and stuff like that. So I don't know if that's like literally what they're gonna do with that character, but I think what he's gonna be is this giant, really like massive hulking robot that's kind of got like this like socially awkward, blunt way of putting things, which sounds pretty cool. So I don't know. Overall, that droid looks awesome. All of the casting, it looks awesome. The cinematography, it just looks so good. This movie looks so good so far. Now let's get into some of the worry that I have, because we did get those rumors a while back that there were like extensive reshoots and they're reshooting 40% of the film. Now, I don't think that that's the case, because obviously people working on the film, and Gareth Edwards in particular, came out and he said, well, no, we're not actually reshooting that much. It's just normal reshoots, just a few pickup shots that we need for like specific things that we like maybe didn't film the first time around. We're just, it's not anything out of the ordinary. That's what we've heard, okay? But we also got that with Suicide Squad. And I think Suicide Squad was very obviously at one point something, and then turned into some other Frankenstein thing that was completely different. That's what I get just from watching that movie. Obviously, we'll be able to see a little bit more of like what the original vision might have been when the Blu-ray comes out, and we can see some of the deleted scenes of Suicide Squad. But that has me worried, because they came out. So the thing is, reshoots happen all the time with pretty much every movie. I know Christopher Nolan, I don't think, has ever done a reshoot for any of his films. But for the most part, most movies, they do reshoots. And the thing is, I wouldn't be worried about this movie, even after all those rumors, if it weren't for Suicide Squad. Because Suicide Squad, they had the rumored reshoots. And then after those, everyone was like, oh my God, apparently really expensive reshoots. This is going to be horrible, yada, yada. They're trying to change the tone and all of this. And I think that was probably accurate. I think those rumors were pretty spot on. But then obviously David Ayer came out. He's like, oh no, they love what we're doing. And they're just, they want more action and stuff like that. That's what he said on like Twitter. And when the movie came out, it was very obvious that there was a shift in the vision for that project at some point, and it was probably due to those reshoots. That has me worried, but I'm not like, see, this movie, just based on the vision that we have here, this movie looks like it just has such a fully developed vision for what it wants to be. I just don't think Disney would try to go back in and demand that Gareth Edwards drastically change anything or reshoot 40% of the movie. I mean, what we've seen so far looks so good. I hope they're not tampering with what this film is. And, maybe they are going to tamper with it, and maybe the movie's better because of it. But I really don't think that's going to be the case if those rumors about the reshoots are true. But like I said, every movie has reshoots for the most part. The reason that it's very likely that the reason we heard about those reshoots was because people on the internet who write clickbait articles saw people got all riled up with the Suicide Squad reshoots. Now let's just, every time a movie has reshoots, let's blow it up into a giant huge scandal or something like that. Like that may be what was going on with the Rogue One reshoot rumors. But yes, there were reshoots. That's nothing to be worried about. It's a question of, are people on the internet lying about it being 40% of the movie and like huge drastic tonal changes? Or is Gareth Edwards and Disney lying that, and because they're saying that, no, it's just very minimal, normal reshoots. I hope it's that. I hope it's just, just like any other movie, just normal reshoots that are there to, oh, we need a reaction shot here, or we need this, or like, I hope that's what it is. But we have no way of knowing. And once the movie comes out, it'll probably be pretty obvious if there's like huge, drastic reshoots that are very apparent, because for some reason, I don't know what it is, but in a lot of movies that have been coming out recently, Suicide Squad and Fan Four Stick, those movies have very blatant reshoots. Like, you can literally watch those and point out the reshoots in those movies. So, I don't know. Hopefully, we have nothing to worry about. I'm talking way too much about the reshoot rumors, so let's get off of that subject. Another thing, so we obviously saw Darth Vader in the ending of this trailer, and I mean, I've seen so much stupid debate around Darth Vader that it's ridiculous. So for one, I keep seeing people go, well, I would have liked to see his face, all this stuff. Oh, we're going to get, such a little bit of Darth Vader. We might as well see his face. And I don't understand that. You've seen Darth Vader's, we know what Darth Vader looks like. So it's kind of funny that they're hiding Darth Vader a little bit because we all know what he looks like. But at the same time, I mean, okay, they're treating Darth Vader pretty much how I expected them to treat him based on the, like, in terms of how they would advertise the movie. They're pretty much doing what I thought they'd do. Oh, we're not going to show Darth Vader a lot because we want you to go to the movie and see Darth Vader. But the people that are like, oh, well, we should have seen Darth Vader's face if they're going to not show him at all. We might as well see a little bit of his face. And I'm like, you know what Darth Vader looks like. I mean, he's been in like 4 movies at this point. It's not like it's a mystery as to what his mask looks like or anything like that. I don't know. This movie has huge scope, but also at the same time, it looks like it's going to be very intimate with with its characters. So there's so much to be excited about. And I think that all the casting, I was talking about the casting a little bit earlier, but I said all the casting, I just love it. Like Forrest Whitaker as Saw Gerrera, that just looks perfect. And he's got a really, really good accent going on in the trailer. And something that's funny that I noticed, in this trailer, he has like big poofy hair. And then we've also seen in the teaser, he had like a shaved head. So it's obvious, I guess, at some point in the movie, he's gonna like shave his head. And I think like, this is like a random theory. I think like when you meet Saw Gerrera, he's gonna be like this borderline Obi-Wan Kenobi, like kind of like lost, just wanderer. Like he doesn't really have a purpose anymore, and he's just, he tried to fight the Empire, but he failed, and he learned, oh, that you don't want to mess with the Empire. They're bad news. And but I think when we finally meet him, I think we'll meet him pretty early on. But when we do meet him, he's probably going to have to be the kind of character that Jin is like, hey, come on, you still have purpose. You may have failed in the past, or you may be scared of the Empire, but like, do you want to waste your life doing nothing, being a no one, or do you want to actually stand for something and possibly help set us on the path to defeating the Empire? And I think he's going to come out of this kind of reclusive state, and I think that like he's going to like shave his head, and it's going to be like a big like, oh yeah moment, like he's getting ready for war or something like that. But oh my god, Rogue One, this movie looks really good. Based on everything that we've seen, I have nothing to complain about, honestly. Like, I want to point this out too. The CG looks really cool. When we're seeing like the Star Destroyers, because I said that kind of weird, Star Destroyers, when we see the Star Destroyers, they look as if they tried to make the CGI look like it was miniatures, which I love, because it looks so cool. And, we've got to this place where, and we reached this point with animated movies as well. It's not necessarily how realistic CGI looks, it's how interesting it looks now, because we've gotten to a point where good CG isn't such a rare commodity anymore. It's more so, is it interesting CG? And I like this because it looks like they're actually applying some sort of artistic aesthetic to the CG, which, I don't know. I really like it. I think this movie, just like I said a million times in this video, visually, this movie is just, it's up there. This might be the best looking Star Wars movie we've gotten so far. And I don't know, I might be the most positive person in the world when it comes to this movie right now, because this, I was really excited when Gareth Edwards was announced as the director, and then I was also really excited when we heard about all the casting. Felicity Jones, I've seen her in only a few things, but I really, really like her in everything that I've seen her in. So, yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about this trailer. It looks really cool. I'm so excited for this movie. Yeah, guys, peace out. Bye.